What's up? It's your favorite MPHP and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm just coming on just to talk about my nursing background and where it all started, where it all began. I went to a boarding school called Milton Hershey School in Hershey, Pennsylvania. So I was sent when I was 7 years old in second grade and I graduated from there. So Milton Hershey School offered different career pathways or tracks. As you can see here, we had computer science, engineering, education, health science, there was law, graphic communication. We trialed all tracks through 10th grade, and then once we got into 11th grade, we had to decide which track we wanted to focus on in 11th and 12th grade. So of course, I chose the healthcare track. So I came across this video. It's actually the medical center that we did our clinical sites at, and that young lady you see here is actually a senior at Milton Hershey School, and she chose the healthcare track. I actually did this same internship in high school during the summer, and pause right there. That doctor in the middle, in the back, that's Dr. D, one of the nocturnal, one of the attendings that I work with currently. So when I go back to work, I got to tell him that I seen a video of him, and I did not know he went to medical school at Hershey. But anyway, so during the health science pathways, like we did clinicals at this Milton Hershey Medical Center, which was amazing. We did the same rotation, clinical rotation, as if you will do in nursing school. So we were very prepared and experienced a lot of different things at a young age in high school, which was amazing. And oh my gosh, I remember Deborah Myers. I'm not sure how old this video is, but this lady right here made a point. She's like, make sure you choose a career that you're going to love because you're going to be doing it for a long time. But it's just amazing how I was actually that young girl in this video once before, many years ago. When I tell people that I always knew I wanted to become a nurse practitioner, when I found out what it was, and it's so true, I found out what it was in high school. During, in this healthcare track. The goal was to graduate high school with some sort of certificate in the track you chose. When I graduated, I was a certified nursing assistant. So my first real job was actually working at Pizza Hut. I was a hostess in high school. My driver instructor knew the manager at Pizza Hut. So he got me in, and that was my first ultimate job at Pizza Hut. But again, when I graduated high school, I was a certified nursing assistant. I went on to college, and I went to the University of Akron for their nursing program. And believe it or not, the first 2 years, like you had to practice with your certificate the first 2 years to keep it active and renewed, right? And I did not work the first 2 years, so I lost my nursing certificate, my nursing assistant certificate. But the Lord has always been by my side, and I managed. My first job was at Sunrise Assisted Living on their Alzheimer's unit, and I loved it. I worked there for at least 2 years, I believe. I worked like the evening shift from 3 to 11 while in college. And then I went on to an Alzheimer's daycare center, and it was like a center where, families would drop off their elderly patients who were suffering from Alzheimer's disease, just to keep them active during the day. And so I really loved that job too. I was able to see and witness the different degrees of Alzheimer's disease, for the ones who are no longer talking, from the ones who are still talking and communicating, but very forgetful, the ones you had to keep an eye on that will wander off. So I really loved it. And all my interview process, when they ask you, like, what do you want to do? Well, like, where you see yourself in 6 months, where you see yourself in a year, I always told them my plan. That's one thing about me. I set goals. If it's a 6-month goal, 1-year goal, or every 5 years, I set goals. And I remember in this interview process, I told her, like, I am currently in nursing school. I want to become a nurse, and eventually venture off to become a nurse practitioner. So my manager at this daycare center, she knew my goals, and she's like, Harriet, you should go upstairs. The daycare center was in the basement of a hospital, right? And she's like, you should go upstairs and work as a student nursing assistant. And I was like, oh, can I? She was like, I got you. Like, she got me in. It's amazing how it worked, and like the people God will put in your life to guide you in the right direction. She was able to speak to the manager upstairs. I was Susan Yee, and she got me into my next position as a student nursing assistant upstairs, which we worked on a med surg orthopedic floor. and that was pretty awesome. So those were my three jobs. So I was the Sunrise Assisted Living Alzheimer's Unit, the Alzheimer's Daycare Center, and then a student nursing tech. These are all my positions I held while in nursing school at the University of Akron. My last year in school, I ended up getting pregnant with my son, and everything worked out. I was nervous because I'm like, I'm still in school, I'm still doing clinicals, this is all new. I'll be a new nurse, new mom, but everything worked out. These are my degree babies. I graduated in May. I passed my boards in July, and I had my son in August 4th. That was amazing and a true blessing. Finished school while pregnant and passed the boards while pregnant. I remember my last year of nursing school, I was adamant about going back, going straight to school. Like, I was not going to practice as a nurse. I was going to go straight to school and become a nurse practitioner. Because remember, I knew this is what I wanted to become. I'm like, why practice? Just go. And my teachers were telling me, like, Harriet, get your experience. And I'm like, no. It's like, I'm in school. Why not continue? I don't want to take a break. But the Lord told me, take a break, Harriet, because I was adamant about going straight to school. The Lord said, pause, take a break and practice. Listen to your teachers. And I had to, because remember, I had my son. So I ended up practicing for 2 years as a floor nurse, and I went up to Cleveland. I practiced up there on a geriatric focused med surg unit. Again, at my interview process there, when they ask you, what's your goals? Where do you see yourself? And I told her, I am going to become a nurse practitioner. My plan is to become a nurse practitioner within the next 2 to 3 years. And so she knew my goal. So I worked for 2 years. I started applying to grad school. My friend Jasmine, I remember one night she was on a computer and looking at schools, and she's the one who brought Ursuline College to my attention. She was going back to get her master's, not a nurse practitioner. I think she was more of a nursing educator, but there was something about Ursuline. It was down the street from where we lived in Cleveland. So I ended up applying to Ursuline, and I got into their graduate program. I believe that was year 2013, 2014 when I was applying for school, and that was the year they actually combined adult geriatric. I was going to go become a geriatric nurse practitioner. My passion is for older adults, geriatrics, and that's what I was going to do. But then they did away with only the geriatric and they combined it. So that was the only choice I had, was to become an adult geriatric nurse practitioner. So my specialty focus was the adult geriatric nurse practitioner and primary care, mind you. Some of you guys might think I'm acute care, but I am not acute care. I am primary care. These programs, they don't just focus only on acute care and primary. They give you 50-50 or maybe 75-25, like 75% primary care, 25% of acute care. So they do provide you with both aspects of inpatient and the outpatient world. I thought I was going to go and actually work in the nursing home. I swore up and down I will never work in the hospital. Like, I was saying that in college, like, I am not going to work in a hospital. I'm going to be in a nursing home. I'm going to run these nursing homes. I'm going to be that nurse practitioner caring for these older adults in a nursing home setting. I ended up finishing school, and then I set a goal. I said I was going to become a nurse practitioner when I turned 30, and I was able to reach that goal. And then my second degree baby popped. I ended up pregnant my last year of school, of graduate school. I was so pregnant in clinicals. I remember my daughter was just eating my food. Like, I would eat and I'll get so sick and lightheaded. And I actually had to set an alarm on my phone every 2 hours because my daughter would just consume all my food. So I had to have a lot of snacks on me during my days in clinicals. I remember I was doing outpatient. Oh, so let me actually talk about my clinical settings while in grad school. Again, I went to Ursuline College, and we were able to find our own clinical setting. I think it was encouraged for us to find our own clinical setting, and I was able to. So my first clinical site was with a hospitalist NP at my job on nights. I was with a hospitalist NP for 1 semester, and then I ventured off to an outpatient clinic that was ran by a doctor and a nurse practitioner who were husband and wife. And it was a wonderful clinic in the inner city that I loved. I actually stayed with them for 2 years or 2 semesters, and then my last was home health. So I focused on areas that I will see myself. I didn't do nursing home. believe it or not, but I followed the hospitalist NP and then outpatient in the inner city and then home care. I am a big fan of home care, believe it or not. I do love home care. I just love how you're able to set your own schedule. It was so nice because she would text me in the morning like, hey, or that night before, like, hey, we'll get started at noon. We only have 3 patients to see or three houses to go to. Or, hey, let's start early and I'll meet you at 9 at this location. And then we'll meet back at the office around 1, 2 o'clock and chart there. I love how flexible it was. It was pretty nice. But again, I was super, super pregnant, but I managed. I made it through by the grace of God, with his guidance and with his strength and with his protection. I was able to finish grad school super pregnant. So I had my daughter in March of 2016. I graduated grad school in May of 2016. I want to say I took my boards right away, or in June or July, I took my boards. And I passed first time having she was 4 or 5 months. So that was my journey through grad school and my clinical sites. So then after graduating and passing my boards, I didn't rush to find a job. So I was off for I want to say 6 months, maybe around the 4th or 5th month mark. That's when I started looking for NP jobs. And man, it was hard for me. I believe I only applied for 3 positions. It was like a diabetes position. It was outpatient diabetes. One was an outpatient clinic, primary care clinic, and then the hospitalist position. And when I tell you the diabetes clinic did not call me back, the outpatient clinic, that application was denied because, again, I didn't have experience. And then the hospitalist position also denied me. I told my mom and I was like, what am I going to do? I was crying. I was just so emotional. Like, how am I going to find a job? And like the next day, my mom just woke up in the morning. She told me to reapply to the hospitalist position, but add your clinical sites. So I did not add my clinical sites on my resume, which I want you all to do. When you guys are applying for nurse practitioner jobs, add your clinical sites as experience. So I went back and applied for the same hospitalist position, adding my clinical sites, and it went through. I got a call and I am here. 7 years later. I am here at this same hospitalist position. So they did take my clinical sites as experience. So the Lord blessed me and took my clinical sites as work experience. So I advise you, when you are looking for a job, write down your clinical sites as experience, because that's the only experience we have, and they take those hours as clinical experience, right? We are hands-on. When I was at my outpatient clinic, I was seeing patients by myself. Like, I remember I stayed with them for 2 semesters. That second semester, patients knew me because I stayed with them on 2 consecutive semesters. So I was following up on patients' blood pressures by myself. They also had a weight loss program there. I was following up on patients, and it was pretty cool. I really enjoyed all my clinical rotations, and I'm very thankful I was able to see all aspects of healthcare, doing outpatient, the hospitalist, and also home care. So I never ended up where I thought I was going to be, which was a nursing home. Never ended up there, but I don't know what my future holds, where I end up after this hospitalist position. So that's my background. Like I said, I always knew I was going to become a nurse practitioner when I learned what a nurse practitioner was in high school, and I had an amazing opportunity to become a nurse practitioner, or not a nurse practitioner, to become a nursing assistant in high school. Although I didn't practice right away with that certificate, I chose healthcare jobs in college to guide me through my journey. And any opportunity that you have to volunteer, to shadow in hospitals and nursing homes, take advantage. That was my journey of becoming who I am today, my nursing background, my degree baby. So like I mentioned, when I found out I was pregnant, I thought it was the end, but I stuck through. I had my mom by my side, encouraging me that it is possible, and it worked out. I know some people are questioning, should you wait to have kids, and should you plan now to have kids, then go back to school? I didn't have any plans. I mean, I had goals of becoming a nurse practitioner. I had a goal of becoming a nurse practitioner by the age of 30. I just set my goals, and the Lord aligned my life and guided me, still with the focus of reaching these goals. And yes, I had my kids on the way to obtaining these goals, and there was ups and downs and twists and turns and obstacles I had to face, but I had him by my side, and with God, all things are possible. You got to have him by your side, and you got to see that light at the end of the tunnel, and make sure you continue to focus on that light at the end of the tunnel and continue to strive and go in that direction. And at the same time, having faith and believing and praying for guidance on the way, because again, it's possible. Today's Bible verse we're just going to focus on: with God, all things are possible. And I'm living testimony, living proof that it is. And I want you guys just to have faith and to not give up and to continue to pray and ask for his guidance, because he will guide you, he will lead you, he will hold your hand and walk you each step of the way to your goals. And just have goals, make goals, and just always just strive to do better and continue to grow.